Welcome to Fantasy Baseball, Baseball, Baseball. I'm Dan O'Day along with Steve Romano. Hey, Steve.
How's it going, Dan?
It's going good. It's time to talk about the Field of Dreams, the head to head league that we are in together. It's a 14 team league, classic 5x5, snake draft, great active league. Really glad I'm in it. Been in it for over a decade. Steve's been in it for, we don't know, 3 or 4 years. For whatever reason, neither one of us has looked that up yet. But we know it's been at least 3 years. And so, but let's go over what happened last week because once again, we had some very interesting results. I beat the commissioner 7-3. Stony Sliders beating the Humboldt Crabs. SoCal Stat Challenge beat the IP Tigers 9-0.
I saw that. I
IP
mean, and
Tigers were ahead of them. They both got about the same amount of innings, 58-59. It was a very close contest in a lot of the categories, RBIs and stolen bases and Ks. Um, so it was just, and SoCal Stat Challenge still in last place, but they needed that big 9-0 win. So good for them. Awesome's Momos,
yeah,
Mr. Awesome's Momos came 5-5 tied with Creek Expos. So Carnival 9 lost 8-2 to the Atlanta Braves, another upset. Good for the Atlanta Braves playing well.
big upset.
Big upset. Carnival 9 has had some trouble the last few weeks. We all know that experience. Raptor 7-3 over the big time Taters. That was a loss by you. Another loss by
Yeah,
you. We'll break down in a second. Lollygaggers, mighty Lollygaggers, beat Juiced Up for Summer 5-3. Another upset. Lollygaggers in 13th place beat, I think Juiced Up for Summer was higher than 8th at the time. So another upset. And then Lumber Company, though, this is something we expected. They're in first now. They were in second, I believe, last week. And Baltimore Chop, they beat them 7-3. So good for Lumber Company. They moved in the first place. So, Steve, you lost 7-3, and I wanted to break it down because I broke it down. I saw you picked up three starters, didn't you?
yep. I mean, I got off to a bad start. Well, I had a terrible game last week, and then I got off to a terrible start this week. And I looked at the standings, or the matchup on Friday, and everything was at least close. It wasn't like the week before where I was like, "Oh, well, that was a terrible week. My team didn't show up and the other team was rolling." This one was like, oh, I'm only behind three here, two there, one there. But I mean, it was like 0, 8, and 1 on like Friday.
Wow.
So I pulled it in, but I pulled it out and gained couple of points to make it 3-7. But it wasn't any of the pitching moves I did. I
Yes, it
picked up
was
three
because
pitchers
yes, it
and
was. Yes, it was. Those three starters you picked up gave you 14 Ks. Um,
all right. So I passed him in K. No, I already
yes.
led, I think, in K.
Well, if you wouldn't have got those three
Oh,
starters, he would have passed you. I mean,
sure, true, true.
you won by 8 Ks. So without getting those 14 from the three starters, you don't win the category.
Right.
Right. So
All
they
right, so
did.
that helped a little.
You did. You got the three because of it. It would have been 8-2. He must have had a good last day. We can also look that up easily. But yeah, so that is an interesting breakdown that I saw. That I was like, wow, those moves didn't really help him. Your ERA was far away, and your WHIP was quite different, 0.85 to 1.16. But you did get the one category with the three moves you made. I myself beat the commish 7-3. I I had a good week in offense. I swept the offense, and yeah, which was great. Um, but the pitching was close. But we had the same amount of innings, and I didn't. I'm like I only made like one move for the week because I was like I'm fine. I got the offensive stats. The pitching stats are close. I'll take a couple maybe. But unless he was, if I saw Kamish pick up some players, I may have picked up some players also. But he didn't, so I didn't. And but he did win in most of the pitching categories um, because he won in wins 4-3 and in
Yep.
whip,
Saves 5-2.
yeah, 5-2. I need
The
another
whip.
closer. So so it's one of the weeks I didn't really spend a lot of moves because I would have, though, if I needed to, in the race for stats and offensively. But 7-3 win for me, Humboldt Crabs. And we're looking at the league now standings. The commish, as we just talked about him, has fallen down to ninth place. He's 11 games back of Mr. Awesome's Momo is in second place of the new leader, Lumber Company. Lumber Company 1.5 games ahead of Mr. Awesome Momo's. I'm in third place, 3 games back. Baltimore Chop 6.5 games. Creek Expos 8.5 games back. And Carnival 9 games back. Those are your playoff slots right now. But in seventh and eighth place, only 9.5 games back, half game out of six, are Raptor and Juiced Up for Summer. So we got some close races. Humboldt Crabs, like I said, the commission is only 11 games back, which once again is only 2 games back of sixth place. Atlanta Braves 13 games back of first place and 4 games back of a playoff contention. And then we have some teams on the lower end. IP Tigers now down 15.5 games back. Big time Taters, 19.5 games back at first place, which puts you ten and a
Yeah.
half games out of the playoff push. Still doable, though, as we talked about the big weeks.
Yep. Oh yeah. My team is 3-16 in the last 2 weeks.
Oh,
That's pretty stinky. So
I didn't
those
want to
types of
say
weeks will
anything,
hurt
but
you.
that's pretty stinky. It is. Mighty Lollygaggers and SoCal Stat Challenge both had good weeks. They are in 13th and 14th place. And I still feel, even, all of you guys, 20 SoCal Stat Challenge is, let's see, 15, so what, 17 games back of the playoffs.
Yep.
Well, if he has another 9-0 week and then another 9-0 week, now he's only 7 or 8 games back. So I just think it's still so much baseball. There's what, 39 to 40% of the season done?
Yep. Right around there for pretty much
That's what I heard
40%.
That's
Although
what I
don't
heard
forget,
somewhere.
we this will this league will end earlier so that there can be playoffs though. So
That
we
is
might
true.
already be 50, might be like 50% of the way through the season in
Well,
this
let's
league.
see. You are correct. There's only 19 weeks of regular baseball because this league also ends like a week or two before the regular season because of the fact that a lot of players play differently those last week or two because of playoffs coming up. I think that's why they ended early. So this is week
Yeah,
11.
there's
So we're officially halfway through. No, yeah, a little over.
yes, more than halfway. Yeah.
Yep, 10 of 19. Wow.
10 down, 9 to go.
Wow. But still plenty of time for anybody, especially if our last two place teams just had fantastic weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, they did.
SoCal Stat Challenge. Who was
9
the
and
other
0.
one?
They were 9 and 0. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Who's the other one? Mighty
Yeah.
Lollygaggers won
Those
5-3. They were only won 5-3. I thought it was bigger,
yeah.
but still, they won. And they beat up Juiced Up for Summer, who I think was top six. So we got some amazing races going on. You
Not
know,
just that, but
yeah.
looking at Mighty Lollygaggers, like they won 5-3. The week before they won 5-3. The week before they won 5-4. The week before they were 5-5.
So they're a
So
good,
Mighty Lollygaggers
yeah.
has been playing. They've been playing good. The problem is the first 4 weeks they went 1-8, then a 5-4, and then back to back 1-9s.
Oh my goodness.
So
So they need a 9 and
so
1 week and an 8 and 2 week.
they need a couple of big ones to balance some of those out. They had three real stinkers in the first four, but now for the past month they've been playing good.
Wow. That's a great breakdown. They're playing really well, so they just need some big weeks. So that's what I'm saying. I think anyone's still in it with over 50% of the season gone until the playoffs start, which is always exciting, the top six teams. Any moves made this week, Steve, that stuck out to you within the last time we talked?
Well, there's been a few times I've gone to see, and I wish I would have jumped on something earlier.
Yeah, well, Jake
But let's
Berger
take a
was
look.
dropped. Jake Berger was dropped. I only bring that up because I know you have him in another league, but he was given up on because he got cold again, didn't he?
Yeah, he did get cold again. I could see him getting dropped in this league for sure.
I absolutely.
Let's
Abel
see.
got picked up. That's a good one, I think. Philly's young pitcher.
I'm trying to go back to what decent timing.
Well,
Oh,
here
there was
and
that
then on
trade.
Wednesday the
Oh, that
4th.
trade did go down.
Yeah, I was about to say on Wednesday
Yeah,
the 4th, the commish and Lollygaggers with a big trade. Lollygaggers traded away Riley and got Ryan, and the Crabs, of course, got Riley. So big trade. I mean, and I think it's a pretty fair trade, a pretty big offensive possibility, and a guy pitching pretty well, really well.
that's the one though. Austin Riley was offered to me
That's
for a
right.
starting pitcher,
For who? I forget.
and I declined. Well, I
For
mean,
I
for
forget
me, it
who.
was Garrett Crochet.
Right,
You
which
know,
he's having a
so
better season.
I'm
No
not
offense to
get.
Joe Ryan. Yeah, yeah.
I'm not trading Garrett Crochet for Austin Riley. Though I do need a third baseman, and Austin Riley actually has turned it on the past week,
Did you
especially. They've
counter
been
with
picking it
another
up.
starter?
No, because I don't really have another starter that would have been tempting. I don't think.
Right.
Yeah,
Nobody. He would. Everyone else he would laugh at. But it's interesting, and
yeah, exactly.
I give him credit. He went for a top pitcher, like and then he like, okay, I can't get that. I'll go down to Ryan because Ryan's having a great season. But I would say he's more of a top
Yeah,
of the second tier guy.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt.
But
But that was a
but
big
that's
trade.
yep.
Absolutely.
And then from there, right?
Right. From there, we have some
Then the
good pickups.
Lollygaggers made some moves.
Yeah, they sure
They were
did.
active.
Two big moves. Rogers, a relief pitcher, was picked up. Cam is that Cam? Oh no, that's Cade Smith, I think, the relief
Cade
pitcher.
Smith.
So
Yep.
that I thought it was it's just relief pitcher switch. But then Larnock was picked up, and it was a big drop. A Garcia from the Rangers, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm
But
pro Larnock. He's playing pretty well for the Twins, but Garcia is a guy that I bet somebody will take a flyer on.
yeah, they have to. Someone will have to. But
Yeah,
it'll be just like Santander,
yeah.
and then he'll get dropped again.
Absolutely. Castro was picked up by Mr. Austin's Momo, the infielder. I dropped Batty going over Presley. Someone took a flyer on Presley, the reliever. I don't know if he had some good games. And then I saw this, and when Mr. Awesome Momos did this, I was like, what a great move. They called up Kimbrel. It looks like they're going to give him a chance to close. He gets one game,
Yep.
and they're like, this DFA'd him. They're like, you're out of here, man.
Yeah,
What
I didn't understand that.
I didn't understand that either. He was throwing only 91, 92, but it's not like he was throwing 88, 89. So I don't know. Something they saw in that one appearance made them not want to keep him around. But at the time, I was like, oh, good pickup. He may get some saves, but not. Um, I don't know who Patrick
Yep.
is. Do you know who Patrick, the pitcher, starting pitcher, is? I don't know who that
He's
is.
just a guy who's having a good run for Milwaukee, I
Oh, from Milwaukee.
believe.
Oh, nice. From
Right?
Milwaukee. And that
He's
Miadroth
20
is dropped. He's how much? How old? 20.
he's 27,
Oh.
fourth
Well,
round pick. Man, he's pitching well. 284.
yeah, I know a lot of
Yeah.
people get hung up on like, he's 27, he's a little older. It's like, hey, sometimes it takes somebody that long to get
Hmm.
where they need to go, an adjustment, a coach that tells them something that clicks, being in the right
Yeah,
environment.
actually, that's a quality pickup for sure. Once
I think
again, the teams at the bottom are being active, you know?
absolutely. Rocker was dropped by Baltimore Chop. Then I picked up Teal, the White Sox catcher with a high upside.
Very high upside. He's maybe better in real life than fantasy, like because he's like a real good defensive guy too
Yeah.
and good thrower. But but he's a blue chipper.
He
He
was a
was a
blue
blue chipper,
chipper.
came out of college.
I had Langoliers going to the IL, so and I have two catchers already. Have also Romuto, who's not having a great offensive season. So I'm like, I'll pick up Teal until Langoliers gets off the IL.
Yep.
Absolutely. Then who's next?
Victor Scott gets picked up by lollygaggers.
Right. Then Stevenson, who we both like as a catcher, Marino dropped, and right there, we already see it as we're going through. Garcia was Baltimore Chop took a flyer on
Yep.
Garcia, and he dropped Doyle,
Yep.
somebody else who was expecting a big upside, not playing so well.
Yeah, I mean, and plus he's in Colorado, so that's
That's
always usually a boost to offensive stats. But that team is just so terrible.
I
Oof.
mean, to score so little runs playing in Colorado is this will be their lowest runs ever. I bet. I'm just saying that out loud. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. And then Kimbrel was dropped by Mr. Awesome's Momos and got Mateo picked up. I like Mateo. I picked him up in fantasy off and on last year a few times because he plays a few positions, and if he's starting, he could get a stolen base if he plays.
Yep, absolutely. That's what you're hoping for.
That's what you're hoping for. And then the multiple position always helps, especially in head to head. And then you made boom, 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 three moves, Steve. These are the moves we were talking about that you made to get the K category in your head to head
That
matchup.
1 point, I got a point. I got a point.
Well, it was worth it as we talked about it.
A win.
Because those 8-2 losses are a lot worse than those, 7-3 losses or 6-4 losses.
Yep.
It's true. And you picked up Anderson, Latz, and Vasil, all starters. And you dropped starters you felt that you did not need. We don't even need to bring them up.
Yep. So, yeah.
Here's a
Martin,
guy.
Hendricks, Soroka. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, Soroka had some upside. He's not doing so great this year. Heim was picked up by Baltimore Chop. Stevenson was dropped. He just had picked up Stevenson. Heim was a guy who had a good year last year or the year before or both, not really putting it together in Texas.
Yeah. No, he really just had that one explosive year. The
Yeah,
rest of
one
the
year.
time he's kind of been, yeah,
He's
lower than you would think.
offensively challenged. I think he's a decent defensive catcher. And then Meowdroth,
Yeah.
if I'm saying it correct, was picked up. He was drafted a couple days earlier. Cam Smith dropped because Cam Smith's not putting it together in Houston.
No, no, he has not.
He is not.
And
And
the
then
the guy that chased my draw, to have you say it, um, technically too, he's a contact guy. We've mentioned this before. So yes, he's gonna play a lot, and he might have a good average and on base, but like his counting stats could be suspect because he's got no power and he's got no speed.
right, and he was picked up Sunday. And I've also noticed besides starting pitchers getting picked up in the weekend and Monday and Thursday, players like that who have three positions get picked up sometimes to fill in for somebody who's not playing. Because Sunday is also a day that people sit,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, those day games after night games for sure.
And then, nothing exciting then. Ortiz for Walker, Pete Johnson for Garrett was something I did. Norby was dropped. I dropped him in another league. He's droppable. And then, was that Savali? How do you pronounce that?
Yep.
He was added by Two Stuff for Summer. A decent pickup. There's a starter who could go off and on the free agent list through the season. But he also has
Yeah,
potential to throw well.
yeah,
I
for
mean, like,
sure.
and keep
I
him
mean,
around.
he's
I actually have a couple guys that I'm holding on to that I didn't think I would be holding on to. Like Canning was a guy I had picked up. I was like, oh, I'll give him, and then but he's pitched good enough to keep for me. You know, Holmes has pitched
hmm
well, and I also took a flyer on Edward Cabrera, had three really good games in a row. Only 5.2, and 4 innings, but still he's throwing well. He used to be an elite pitcher.
yeah, he can throw.
And so we
And
go,
and rotating the pitchers through these head-to-head weekly leagues, you're gonna use guys that you wouldn't necessarily want to use, but it's worth the flyer for sure.
absolutely. And speaking of moves made, you were saying how active it is. I mean, SoCal Stat Challenge has 30 moves. Mighty Lala is 27. That's third and fourth in the league, after me at 46 and the commish at no Baltimore Chop at 35. Oh, the commish is 31, so that's fourth and fifth in the league. But they're very active. It's a very active league. And once again, we always got to point out that Lumber Company's in first place and has only made 4 moves this year.
Incredible.
Incredible. I mean, incredible. The next lowest is what we got here? 7 by Creek Expos, who's in fifth place. Also to me, incredible. And then IP
Yeah,
Tigers
I'm
with 10.
look looking at Lumber Company, and they got Cal Raleigh and they got Shohei Ohtani. So that's pretty damn good right there. But
Yeah.
other than that, I'm like, you're like, wow.
Well, I don't know. You're talking about lumber company. They got Cal.
Yeah.
And
Well, let's see. Just
Bush
saying.
Bush is
Cal
playing
Raleigh's
well.
the number.
Bush is
No,
playing
Cal Raleigh's
well.
number four. Number four
Yeah, he's number
hit
four.
player.
But you know, but
Shohei
Bush is
Ohtani's two.
and that's it. But you're saying the rest of them. I'm saying 107 Bush is having a good season. When you have 1 and 2, a Bush is that filler you need. Tarang's giving you those 15 stolen
Sure.
bases, batting 266, and you don't need a cross of great stats from him because you got 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Adamas
Yeah.
has been a big
Yeah.
letdown for sure. Jung, I don't know if they're playing them to just because they're playing today. Quan batting 314 with 9 stolen bases. You got 1 and 2. That's great.
Yeah.
This guy's killing me in another league. Rosarina. He's batting 228. He's been hot lately. 11 stolen bases, though, with 7 homers. Some decent counting stats. But when you have 1 and 2, that's the filler you need. And and then
Yeah.
Garcia from the Royals. He's batting 312 with 13 stolen bases and 7 homers. I have him in another league, and I'm just loving him. He plays second, third, and outfield in Yahoo. That's a great offense. And then looking at his pitching, he's got Valdez and Ober. He's got DeGrom and Fott and Wheeler. Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah. That is pretty good.
That is really good, actually. Now, I will say
Wheeler,
he's punting saves.
Wheeler,
He's got
DeGrom,
Abreu,
Valdez.
Strom, and Yates. I mean, he's punting saves, isn't he?
Yeah.
His highest save guy has 2, Strom. So first place, 4 moves, punting saves, doing well. Lumber Company. That's pretty
More
impressive.
power to them.
Yeah, more power to him. Pretty impressive. So another good week in Field of Dreams, my favorite head-to-head league I've ever been in. Um, I'm in third place now. I'm trying to move up. I've had some, players come around, some decent players play well. I picked up new spectacle Max Muncy in this league, who's filling in pretty good for Bregman, to be honest with you. But I wish I had Bregman back. Um, and people like Lindor and Duran, and even people like Sheets are playing really well. So I'm hoping I can move up on Lumber Company, but I'm at like 47 moves or something. So I've made a few more moves.
Also, you were 7-3 last week. Before that, you were 6-2, 8-2, 5-4, 5-5, 6-4, 6-4. You've only lost 2 weeks, week one and week three, and in week two you won 8-2.
Wow, wasn't one of my losses
So
big?
the week one was 2-8,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the week three was 2-5.
2 to 5. So those weeks are why I'm only in third. So they hurt me, but I felt good about my team lately, pretty consistent. So I'm hoping to move up as the champ, the current champ. Great league, really active, very lucky that we have this league. And for you, your intro to head.
Yes, I like it. There's a
It's
whole bunch of strategies that I never really thought about, and I enjoy it for sure.
without a doubt. And I found it interesting, like when I broke down, the moves you made. It's like that's what happens. You make moves on the weekend, you can get a point or two more, and in the long run, those 2 points every week add up. So that's head to head, Field of Dreams. I'm Dan O'Day. That's Steve Romano. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week. Cheers.
Have a good one.